Alright gang, it's time for a little tank update. Made some modifications since the last video. I'm going to go through a few of those. So as you can see, water's pretty clear. I'm only running the 2 sponges and I have them throttled down a bit. I've got my 2 air stones going at the back. They're throttled a bit as well. So I've swapped a plant, or added a new plant. There's a little banana plant going on there. He's supposed to be pretty cool once it grows. So that's kind of a neat addition. I get a little bit of light blockage over there with that driftwood. So hopefully he does okay. I don't know if the coconut half was in my last video, but it's there. A little bit of coverage. The beta doesn't really go in there that often. It seems the loaches do. Moved around the repins a little bit. Put some weights on them as well. They kept getting knocked up by the loaches. You could see over there, there's a little weight showing. I've got a little bit of brown algae I've noticed on the leaves of that Calamastrum. I've got a little, you could see some specks on the wall back there, as well as on my little alerts. So I'm hoping that's just a side effect of new tank, not necessarily anything bad, but I'm gonna have to keep watching it. I had some in the gravel, like there's some on the glass over here. So I've tried to do a decent job vacuuming so it doesn't just spread like wildfire. You can see I'm starting to get some additional growth on the Calamastrum plant back there. I moved around my Ludwigia. So here's a piece here, another piece here in the front, and then one in the back. They were doing okay for a while, and they started to sort of die off. I had them all bunched at the root, and I don't know if that was a piece of it or what. I've also just recently switched fertilizers as well, from Seachem Flourish and Seachem Root tabs over to Thrive and Thrive tabs. So I've only done 1 dose of that. I put a big Anubias plant, one of the extra large sizes, back there to give some extra coverage. It looks pretty good. Hopefully it didn't plant it too deep. The substrate's pretty lightweight, so even if I think I covered it, the Echo Complete isn't that bad. It doesn't like smother the roots, so hopefully it's high enough. We'll see in a couple days if it's still growing pretty good. I've got some new growth on this little mini rosette sword here. This whole bunch right here is all new growth. And that's really about it. So I used a bit of tubing. So you can see I've got a suction cup back there, and I've got airline tubing going around to that side. And that kind of holds my frog bit in place. I did throw a bunch of frog bit away today. It was propagating like crazy, and it was throwing a lot of shade at the bottom of the tank. So I wanted to keep this wisteria. As you can see, Ezra likes to hang out in it. It's starting to grow as it, these leaves that start to fan out like this are sort of new growth, whereas some of these, like this one here, is a little bit of older growth. So as it grows out, the leaf pattern changes since it's submerged, and I see some roots going up there as well. So I bought 2 bunches of that. Have some of it over here, some of it on this side. There's my loaches going, so we'll see if we can spot some of these guys over here. We've got some black coolie loaches in there. I started with 3 of them. It just wasn't enough. They were really hiding all the time, and now they're silly. They'll be up here like this guy. He likes to hang out. He'll just flop over there, hang on the back of the heater. Don't know if I could see him from this side. They like to hang on this driftwood. I posted another video the other day of them hanging out on the driftwood, just flopping, fighting for a spot to just lay up there. What else is new? I'm trying to find Graham in here. Graham's the guppy fry that snuck into my tank, who's still doing good, but he has some color finally. So I wanted to, oh, here he is. So there he is back there. He's starting to get color in his tail. He's grown a little bit. Looks like he's got some orange action going on. So hopefully Ezra, the beta, continues to leave him alone. We'll have to see once he gets bigger and in full color if he's still left alone, but I'm hoping so. So that's really it, gang. That's the latest update. Switched up fertilizers. I haven't had any ammonia or really nitrite for weeks now. I'm still toying with the frequency and the amount of water changes. I was on a schedule of doing, since I have a 3-gallon bucket, this is really, it's a 29-gallon tank, but with all this substrate, you know, I have that much substrate in here. Then when I measure it, it's really about a 21.3 gallon tank worth of water. You know, granted, yeah, some substrates is going to hold a little water, but most of that's solid. I mean, I'm not going to have gallons worth in that substrate. So, so with that, I was doing 3 water changes a week of 3 gallons, which was simple. I don't really know if I like that. I may increase that to do bigger water changes, because just the math, you know, 3 gallon changes is different than 1 9-gallon change. And I did a bigger one today. I did 6 gallons, and I seem to get a lot of funk out of there. You know, when I gravel, there's lots of junk that comes up. So I may do bigger ones once a week. Plus with the Thrive, the suggestion is to do either 30 or 50% water changes a week based on how much Thrive you're putting in. So I don't know. I'm still up in the air, and I'll still, you know, monitor and see what I want to do in regards to that. So that's the latest update. Everybody, keep your fish happy. Oh, the other thing, I did swap out my heaters. So I had one of the, I had 2 Aqueon 100-watt heaters, one in each corner, and the one that was over here, you know, I had it less than a month, and every time it fired up, it was making a clicking noise. I thought I had something squeaking or something in the tank that was sitting cockeyed, but come to find out, it was whenever the heater was running, I would get a clicking sound, and it would get really bright red at the bottom. So I ended up returning that. And I went ahead and got 2 of these Eheim Jaegers, which I like. They're a little weird. They've got an adjuster on top that allows you to sort of dial in. You know, the red ring adjusts and moves around, and so does the blue. So I'm still toying with getting that set right. I'm trying to get it so they both fire on at the same time and they both keep the tank around the same temp. But it's going to be a little bit of time before I have that really dialed in perfectly where I want it. Based on these fish, now granted it's tough because a lot of the different, depends on what website you go on. You know, one of them will say, you know, this is the ideal range for a beta, and another one, that range will be adjusted, and the same for the coolie loaches or whatever fish you look at. So right now with the stats I'm using, it looks like the middle of the road temperature for all these guys is about a 75 degree tank. So I don't know, I may keep it 75. I may, right now it's running almost 77, 78, somewhere in there. I don't really think that's a big of a deal, but we'll see. I'll keep toying with it. So that's it for now, gang. Peace out.